My goodness. Watching that transformation, there are 6 of us on this sofa. We didn't take our eyes off that for a second. Cliff and his wife Tracy are here with us alongside Nick and Ava. And watching the two of you watching that is really special because here's 18 years of marriage that you guys have shared. And this is like a rebirth, isn't it, for the two of you?
It's back at the beginning, yeah.
Isn't it? Tracy, just describe that moment again, coming into that room and seeing a changed husband of yours.
It was amazing. His eyes were bright, he had colour, and before he was just nothing. He was just numb. And when I walked in there and I saw a pink face with blue eyes, it was like, I got my husband back.
And what was it like
amazing.
for you then to see her reaction? Because, I mean, you've sort of been feeling like you've been responsible for the marriage not working, for not being that person that you fell in love with at the beginning. So to see her looking back at you like, there you are, that must have been incredible for you.
Well, I can't explain how I felt at that time. But up until that moment, when these guys actually cured us, I was just a shell. I never actually realised how I was being.
Yeah.
You described it as a light bulb.
It was like somebody switched the light on. I don't know if you noticed it on the video, but
yeah.
All of a sudden, everything came real, and I just realised where I'd been for the last 10 years.
So what have you been able to do since that treatment that you couldn't do before? How's it changed your life?
Oh, dramatically. It's silly things like being able to read my daughter a story. I wasn't in any frame of mind to do anything. I couldn't concentrate on work. I couldn't physically function, full stop. I used to love taking Ruby Boo to bed and reading her a bedtime story. And I've not even been bothered to be able to do that.
Listen
but
to music.
I can again.
You've got your life back.
When we was driving home from seeing Nick and Ava at their house, we was driving back, and even silly little things like Tracy said, because I was listening to the radio and that's what Kings of Leon was playing. He said, you don't even take any notice of what's been on the radio, and I haven't taken any notice of anything around me, full stop.
You've just been a shell,
like
you said.
For so long, this has been your lives. This is a new being for you guys, I guess.
Nick and Eva, you said that a lot of people suffer from PTSD and other disorders, and they're treated with medication. When you see the difference that this has made, and in a short space of time, but just by talking therapies as opposed to medication, is that actually needed, do you think?
Do you know what? I think the big thing was that he did have therapy as well, but everyone would seem to be looking at the attack, because that was the thing. But it wasn't the attack, it was after the attack that was the most frightening thing, because he thought that the inmates were going to gather and there was going to be a riot, and you know, he was going to lose his life, and that was the start.
But medication and respite period is obviously sometimes necessary. However, in the long term, to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, what you have to actually do is deal, like we did with Cliff, is find out when did he actually feel, at what moment did he feel his life was in danger, and change his whole thought process. I mean, it was so visual to see that when he actually got it and realised it wasn't the punch at all, it was actually when I was laying on that floor, I felt in danger and vulnerable, whereas in actuality, those inmates liked me and they were protecting me.
Concentrating on the wrong moment all this time.
Yeah, you have.
And with PTSD, we often think that it's just we sort of found out about this term, didn't we, with people sort of returning from fighting or in the army or the military in some way. But actually, PTSD is something that can affect you in all areas of life. It's basically surviving something or having a shock in some way and carrying it with you.
And 1 in 3 people, you know, the statistics suggest that 1 in 3 people who have suffered any form of trauma,
seen a trauma,
will go on to suffer with post-traumatic stress disorder, and the symptoms are really severe and debilitating, such as anger issues, depersonalisation, which Cliff was diagnosed with,
and severe depression.
And depression, because you are consumed in that moment, because obviously survival is an instinct, and we're trying to fix it. But it's great to see.
It is. Thank you. And go and live your lives together. You've got it back.
Yeah, we've got it back finally.
Yeah,
I'm cured 100%.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing it with us. You're amazing.